Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Jodo Cast, your Star Wars gaming podcast. This is episode 83. My name is Evan Lewis. I am joined by Leo Andri.
Isn't it really our Star Wars gaming podcast?
It belongs to the people.
Yeah, we're not.
Show of the people.
I don't know. That sounds kind of commie to me.
In this day and age, all the best things are. And Joe Latovsky.
Hello, gaming comrades.
Oh no. They're never mind. Nope, not saying a thing at all. Nothing this time. I promise. Oh, please don't leave us patrons over at patreon.com/thejodocast. We love you. Honestly. I don't know where they come up with this stuff. But we appreciate every single one of you. You're still the best people on Earth. And you would not be getting what you've just gotten if not for your time and talents and love that you've shown to us over at patreon.com/thejodocast. And if you would rather not go to that website immediately, you can get there. I'm not sure what you would have against that, but if you like clicking links, you can go to jodocast.com, which is a little bit easier to type out quickly, and then follow the link to Patreon at jodocast.com. You can also find a link to our Discord server where you can hang out with cool people like yourself all day, every day, including us, even though we're probably not as cool as you listening right now.
Says you.
And you can, yes, says me. I'm saying it right now. Here and now, I'm saying it, and declare it as such. You can find all of our other social media links at jodocast.com, and there's a survey at the top where you can tell us what you love, what you hate, what you want to see different. And we love you, patrons. I think that's it. Yes, so what have we been playing? It's a really good question, because we've been talking a lot about video games this month so far, and I think I know at least one game Joe's been playing a bunch.
I got in a game of Legion the other day. The last game of my Legion League. And
you won, right?
I did.
Good.
And then been playing a fair amount of Battlefront II. Because it's fun.
I figured as much.
And you even played with me. And I think you didn't hate it.
I did not hate it. Well, since we're on the topic of me now, yes, Battlefront 2 and other video games that are not Star Wars related in any way. Because I don't have... Oh, no, we skipped out on playing Edge of the Empire because we were watching the bonkers, weird Ubisoft E3 conference replay and then watched the still weird but not quite as bonkers weird Sony conference. So that was instead of Edge of the Empire, for better or for worse. Leo.
Mostly worse, I would imagine.
I suppose depends on just how much you're into Just Dance.
0%.
Is Han Solo in it?
I'm honestly amazed he's not at this point.
Then I am not interested.
But he's not in the new Smash Brothers either, which stinks.
Well, I guess we'll live without that. Would he really be... Would he really be that different than, say, like, Fox or Falco?
I don't know. I'm sure they could come up with something.
I mean, he would just, he's got a laser blaster like they do. And then, he doesn't even get the other cool moves they do. Maybe you could throw thermal detonators or something. I don't know.
He calls in the Falcon to, knock them all off the platform, or...
Well, yeah, maybe it's like his Super Smash, but...
And then Chewie comes in as his assist and smashes them. I don't know. You still haven't answered the question, Leo. What have you been playing?
Trying to just ignore the question.
What have you been painting?
There you go. That's part of the hobby. Okay, let's start with an easier question. What have you been eating lately? Surely you've eaten something.
Star Wars related, as we all do.
A whole box of 3POs.
I only eat Star Wars shaped macaroni and fruit snacks.
Man, Star Wars macaroni is gross, man.
What's gross about it?
It's the noodles they cook up different, and it's not just the Star Wars ones. It's all the like shaped macaronis, and then like their mix that they have for their sauce is slightly different, and it all tastes like butts.
Tastes like butts. Okay.
Yeah, if you're gonna buy boxed mac and cheese, the Kraft stuff, just get the original and nothing else. Maybe you could get the spirals. You know, that's acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But beyond that, just throw that away, man.
Important life lessons. This segment brought to you by Kraft.
Kraft.
What have you been crafting? I've been crafting boxed mac and cheese. I bought a pack of the legacies for Star Wars Destiny. That's the closest I've come since we last talked. Just one pack?
Is that
just
latest?
One pack?
Is that like the brand new one?
No, that's like the one. Well, it is the latest, but it's not brand
it's not that
new.
One that they keep.
It's the one that it was brand new 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the one I bought like 3 packs of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was killing time, and I went to go check out one of the newest store in town. I mean, it's not new anymore because it's been around for a while, but and I feel like if I'm gonna go like just wander around in like that store for like a half hour, I should at least spend a little bit of money. So I bought a pack of legacies.
And did you get anything interesting?
No, I got some stupid Jedi Starfighter.
Oh.
So, boo for that. I almost bought a set of battle droids just so I would have the dice to actually use my my awesome battle droids that I picked up at Worlds. But I didn't feel like paying $50 for 5 battle droids.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was selling them for $10 a piece, so
that seems excessive.
They're not. They're what?
Especially since that's what Joe sold his alt art ones for.
Yeah, what? Let's see. That kind of like aftermarket stuff is one of the big reasons I burnt out on Destiny so fast. I really don't like that sort of thing.
Well, then you just don't buy them. I mean, that's...
Yeah. But, like, what if I really wanted that one thing?
Well, then I guess then your other choice is to buy packs. I guess I don't see how the price people are selling stuff on the aftermarket really affects your enjoyment of the game that much.
It just... it's weird.
I mean,
just as a concept, it's weird to you.
Oh, it's just kind of adding a whole another dimension to the game that I don't want to participate in. So if there's a thing I really want, I'm either going to have to spend a lot of money cracking packs or spend a lot of money on like a single. Both of which aren't that desirable.
But to be honest, so usually, unless you're lucky, it's going to be cheaper for you to spend the money on the singles than cracking packs.
Mm-hmm.
But that's generally if you're really, really interested in playing the competitive scene. If you're not, I mean, you're getting more value from the packs because you're getting more cards. You're getting more variety.
to a
Well,
certain point.
After
Eventually,
you've opened up like one box's worth of booster packs, your value kind of really starts to go down at that point.
Right.
Yeah, once you've got most of the commons and uncommons, everything you open is just like completely worthless paper and plastic, where you're like, I have all 5 of these cards in this die. Great, and I'm going to throw it in here, and no one wants to trade it, and I'm not going to bother selling it for like $2. It's like...
But if you're talking about spending less than that at a pop, like, I guess I would say if you're spending like $20 or 21 bucks for packs, or 20 bucks for card that you just sort of want, but it's not because you're, either playing competitively or trying to finish out that collection. In either of those cases, it's totally worth it. But unless you're really, really trying to participate at a deeper level, I don't know. I think you still get overall better value.
I really hate having like 3 deck boxes of worthless commons and uncommons. I wish Fantasy Flight had.
Joe's just not cut out to be a CCG player.
I don't think so.
Sometime I should pull out all of my stormtroopers I have from the old Star Wars CCG and make just a stack of stormtroopers to show you.
Yeah.
I bet the number of stormtroopers I have might rival the total number of Destiny cards you have.
I never even got that many stormtroopers when I was collecting. That was one of the things that hampered me. I couldn't build good decks because I only ever got garbage. I think I got more of the Cantina aliens than any other single type.
Well, that's when you build your Bith musician deck.
Needs to do.
What do they need to do?
They need to have a program with the local game stores to recycle your cards. So I go and I dump 500 worthless, stupid commons, and then the game store gives me like $2, and then they ship them back to Fantasy Flight, and Fantasy Flight gives them like $10 off their next shipment or something.
So you want a coin star for commons?
I want, like in Europe, when you have an empty beer bottle, you bring it back to the store, and you get like 50 cents back, and the beer costs like $1, so it's a good deal. I just feel like environmentally this game is disgusting when I see all those cards sitting there. Like, what do I do with them?
Whatever you want.
You make art out of them.
The only thing limiting you is your own imagination.
That's right,
Joe.
We'll
take some pictures of that thing they build with leftover cards at Gen Con.
Cardhala.
Yeah.
Well, listeners, give me some suggestions on what to do with my worthless Destiny commons and uncommons.
Pants. Make pants out of them.
Paper mache pants.
That's right. They can be your pants.
You could make a like a suit of scale armor.
Ooh, there you go.
Out of Destiny commons.
You can make swimwear out of them. Instead of the chainmail bikini, you'll have the card mail bikini.
Maybe I'll make a hat.
Cowboy hat.
If you stack enough of them together under your shirt, you can turn it into like a makeshift bulletproof vest.
It's true.
I can find.
Want to do some experiments? How many Destiny cards does it take to stop a bullet?
I think we have a new
and which
YouTube
kind
series.
of bullet?
And then we'll make a vest, and then we'll end up killing Joe when we test it, and we'll be like that idiot couple from Minnesota that did that when they were like
phone book or something.
Yeah, it was like, what? Look, this book will stop a bullet. oh, I guess it didn't. That was really stupid.
All right. Well, I guess we know what we've been playing now. We're gonna start playing. Make a. I don't know. What are we gonna call this YouTube series?
It's going to be a tutorial series, like how other gaming channels teach you how to make terrain or paint stuff.
I don't know. I think it can just be a series called Destiny Junk, where each episode is a different solution to get rid of your Destiny
You
waste.
just are always making stupid with your Destiny cards every episode.
You can do an
And I'd
episode.
have to start buying in again, because eventually I'd run out.
Shred them
Eventually.
and use them as like pasta noodles.
Until we get the listeners to send you all their garbage cards.
All right.
You're gonna start that recycling program. It's like Cash for Guns. It's like Nothing for Commons.
Well, they get to watch me
they
make videos.
There you go.
Entertainment for commons.
I don't think I'm going to be able to make the bullet test happen anytime soon, because I don't have access to a bullet.
What? You live in one of those gun states, though, don't you?
It is an open carry state. I could probably just walk around, tap a guy on the shoulder, be like, "Yo, you want to shoot it?"
Next time you're up in Fargo, we'll bring your stack of Destiny commons out to the shooting range.
And then you got to try the different styles, though, different hunting styles on them.
Well, you got to start with like a 22, and then
a little plinker.
work your way up from there.
Now that yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like my hunting rifle, I'm fairly sure it's going to take a whole lot of cards to stop a bullet from that.
You got to make sure it's the right season for it, also, for card season. I mean, you need to have either the rifle or a bow, crossbow.
I'm picturing dressing Joe up in a bunch of blaze orange now and
Hunting a deer made
There's
of
a stack of
cards.
cards. Did you see the grass move? There's some cards in there.
Okay, Joe, use the card call. See if you can call me.
It's the sound.
Don't
It's
tell
the sound
the-
of a card pack being opened up. That's their mating call.
Don't tell the game and fish department, but we're going to use bait and we sprinkle out some tokens.
This is fantastic. I love this idea. Quick, make that before somebody else does.
See, I
Okay,
actually
no one
like
else
the
is
idea
listening. They ain't gonna steal our ideas.
of making videos, getting rid of these cards, but I don't want to be someone who makes stupid videos. Like,
Does it blend? You just throw some cards in a blender?
well, no, that's not so. I mean, I don't want to ruin any of my cooking utensils. I'm not going to eat any of them
Good point.
because obviously they're not good to eat. Like, we already know that. I don't need to
Do
be like,
we?
I'm going to make a
Do
sandwich
we?
out of Destiny cards.
Do we know that, Joe? I mean, if you put enough ranch dressing on it, it'll probably taste fine.
Do you have anybody have a deep fryer?
And some famous Dave's. Some famous Dave's barbecue sauce.
Okay, well, listeners, if you really want me to try and get rid of these in entertaining ways, just tell me your suggestions, because besides shooting them, I don't have any ideas right now. Maybe I kind of like the idea of making a hat.
Perfect. That'll be the first video. Okay, usually when we're that stupid, that means we've reached the end of the episode, but we're not even started yet.
Sorry.
No, it's fun. I encouraged it. I'm as much
does
to
that-
blame.
Or does that mean now we have to prematurely end the episode because we've already...
No, we
I mean, this could be the end of the episode, and we could do the content, like,
after the credits.
We've already done it. You know what I mean?
Ah,
Because of editing.
yes, the magic of editing. No, we're gonna do this au natural. So now we're gonna talk about.
So everyone has to take their clothes off while we're recording.
No pants half hour.
Oh my goodness. Okay, E3.
And if you're listening.
What?
Not if you're driving, though. Don't take your clothes off if you're driving.
Important safety tip.
Unless you're at a red light.
I'm glad you're here to tell us these things. E3 stuff happened, kind of.
Not really.
Let's-
At least not
Barely.
Star Wars
All
related.
right,
So I was thinking
Oh.
the best thing about all this is there was only, I guess, technically 2 pictures involved with all of this news, which means you, audio listener, aren't missing out on anything if somehow you aren't up to date on this news. It's not like there's a trailer we're going to talk about that you're like, oh, they're talking about a video.
Yeah.
Nope, nothing. Just pictures that aren't much of anything.
So, quick recap on what we talked about before. What predictions we had made 2 episodes ago. We thought we might get like a tiny look at the Respawn game, equivalent to what we had with the Visceral, just a dude walking down the street.
It certainly was tiny.
Oh yes, we
I wouldn't call it a look.
we were pretty sure that we were going to get some Clone Wars. I think Joe had pretty much the heartbeat of the community. It was like, yes, we're getting Clone Wars. I thought we might possibly get a little something about SWTOR 6.0, just for them to say, hey, thanks for however many years, 6 whatever years of, almost 7 years of play, and 6.0 on the way. Like, I thought we might get that. There was a possibility. I don't think we really discussed it, but I think there could have been a possibility of a tease of another new game, because they've got, stuff in the works all the time. But, I think we
Could have fooled me.
Yeah. I think we would have only gotten that if we'd gotten everything else. Because in the past, when they've done it, they were like, yeah, this studio is working on something, that studio is working on something. And, we didn't get anything nearly close to that. And as much as I want to talk about the dumbest stuff last, I think it's worth going just in chronological order of what we got at the EA Play event. It was the only space where Star Wars is mentioned at all. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Okay. Thought there was a chance that we might get something Star Wars at either the Xbox conference or the Sony conference, and we didn't get anything there, so EA Play was literally the only place where there was any Star Wars whatsoever, and they kicked it off with this dumb interview. And
I want to know how, was it impromptu? Because he was literally in the audience in a chair, and he's like, "Oh, hi," wasn't even on stage.
So yeah, let's set the stage, like you said, in case people didn't watch it, because they didn't miss out on anything. Guy from Respawn, and if I was a better journalist, I'd have his name in front of me, but just the guy from Respawn Studios sitting, like you said, in the audience, like front row, but still in the audience, and the MC for the event sitting there with a hand mic, talking to him, prying information out of him, because there was so little information to give. We got a title, Jedi Fallen Order, which I have thoughts on that anyways. We know the setting. It's between episodes 3 and 4, which we kind of sort of thought before, at least on the Visceral one. Your role is a Jedi on the run. We got no title screen reveal, no trailer, no in-engine gameplay clip, like walking down the street of a desert world under Imperial occupation. We got nothing except for this guy to say, yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, there's Jedi. Yeah, it's Dark Times, and it's coming out holiday of next year.
2019.
Okay, so my thoughts really quick on why it was done this way. I think they were I think with this conference, they were trying to avoid having everything just be one or two people on stage saying words with pictures, and then next set of people do the same thing. Because they had a couple of different setups, like they had people on stage, like one or two people, and they had this, and they had one guy, and then they had the stupid Madden pro player, and it's just like, oh my gosh, what are you doing?
I skipped my high school graduation to go play in a tournament because I'm a winner. I like to win. I hate losing more than I like winning.
Oh
I'm a winner. Oh my god.
Chasing that money. Got my diploma, but I'm chasing that money. and then the last thing was Anthem, and that was like 4 people sitting down on the stage talking. So just slight variations to the formula of people up there talking. I think that's what they were trying to do, but maybe they're just dumb.
Well, it could be worse. I mean, they didn't have anybody, do a
Playing an
pratfall
instrument?
through the
Oh
podium.
my gosh, yes. Frickin' Ubisoft. But they're bonkers nuts anyways. Like they're a little unhinged when it comes to their press conferences. So that's, you can kind of laugh at that stupid garbage, kinda.
In sort of like a uncomfortable, like I wish I wasn't here sort of way.
Yes, exactly.
Well, why don't we presentation ineptitude aside, like they could have just gave us a temp like logo, like just put Star Wars Jedi : Fallen Order in the Star Wars font on the screen, even if that's not going to be the final logo.
Yeah, I mean, if it's only a year and a half away from being released, there has to at least be some concept art or something out there they could have thrown up on the screen. Anything at all. I mean, they could have even just shown another shot of those...
The mocap?
The mocap people lightsaber fighting.
So, besides that, what do we think? Do we want to speculate about this game? Because we know you're going to play as a Jedi on the run in the time between 3 and 4, which makes me think you're going to be fighting Inquisitors, which actually sounds really cool to me.
If they pull anything, because the only thing really that Respawn has done previously is Titanfall 1 and 2, and one of the coolest things from that, aside from the mech suits, is that and correct me if I'm wrong, it's got some cool like parkour mechanics. Not quite like Mirror's Edge.
I think so.
No, am I wrong? Or at least it's...
I think they do, yes.
Yeah, they do.
So we get some of that.
I think it's more like... almost more like Attack on Titan-y kind of.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to look at it. So if we get cool, like, non-normal, breaking the mold type of first-person, third-person combat like that only a Jedi could do in universe, like, okay, that's cool.
Like, right? My mind just goes to, like, where it would connect story-wise, like, it would be kind of cool if you play as the group of Jedi younglings from Season 5 of the Clone Wars, where they get their crystals and, like, help Hondo, and then at the end of the game, they all die at the hand of Darth Vader or an Inquisitor or something. Because, like, I hope that your character dies at the end of this game. They kind of need to, unless you're maybe playing as Ahsoka or Kanan. Like, I'm curious how connected it's going to be with characters and settings we already know.
Maybe that's like your two paths at the end of the game. You either get to die or you become an Inquisitor.
I like that. Yeah, I'm curious if it's going to have any sort of choices you have to make.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope that they do manage to do something a little different, sort of like what you were saying, Evan, and we don't just end up with essentially a next gen Force Unleashed kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would rather not have just another, hack and slash. Oh, I was saying this on our Discord. This is my dream mechanic for lightsaber combat. I don't expect anything like this at all to happen. You fight each other, and they've got the animation worked out so your blades are connecting and blocking each other, but you're not actually hitting each other. Because if we look at any other lightsaber combat fighting game like Force Unleashed or whatever, even Battlefront or any game with a sword, you just hit people until they've taken enough wounds to die. We know that's not how lightsabers work in the movies or anything else. Most of the time, if you get hit by a lightsaber, the fight's over. So I think it would be really cool if they had fights where you're not trying to inflict damage, but you're just trying to either wear down like their defense, give them a stat bar for defense that gets whittled down, or stamina. So you're just trying to wear them down enough, or break down their defenses, so you can slip in that one killing blow or the thing to end the fight. Because how cool would it be? It's okay, picture how a lightsaber fight would be in any other game. They're just sitting there, they're both hitting each other, sometimes blocking, sometimes hitting each other. Or a fight maybe lasts 60 seconds that looks like a fight out of the movies, where they're not actually, damaging each other. That would be amazing. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
Anything's possible at this point. Yeah,
since we know
disappointment is mostly what's possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the fact that, and this is actually one of our listeners in Discord kind of asked about this too, but the fact that this is our initial introduction to the game, essentially, doesn't really fill me with a lot of confidence in the game. I mean, yeah, I'm hopeful that it's not gonna suck, because I want more than anything to have a Star Wars video game that I actually enjoy playing.
That's what I want too.
Which is something I haven't had in well over a decade.
I'm saying I want a game that Leo likes, because I know that's going to be
it's tall order.
Like a hell of a game.
Yeah. And
I'm curious if it's going to have multiplayer, but just I really want cool connections to the rest of the canon. Apparently, the current Vader run of comics hasn't yet, but will be having some references to this upcoming game.
Well, they've already been showing some stuff with like kind of some Jedi that have been in hiding and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if the game is going to be kind of that, but flip the perspective a little to be on the Jedi side. Like, what if it's like open world and you see people in trouble and you can try and help them, but if you help them with your force powers or your lightsaber, you might attract some Imperial attention or bounty hunters coming after you.
You just said the magic words to make me hate the game.
Open world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
okay, what if it's in a linear path and if you try and help somebody? It would be cool to be forced to not use the cool tools that Jedi get.
Yes, that would be.
Or
good.
risk, getting the attention of bounty hunters or the Empire.
So you use your Jedi powers and it ups like your heat with the
right. Isn't that how it was done for a little bit in Star Wars Galaxies, where every time you did cool stuff as a Jedi, it like raised your notoriety, and they would send bounty hunters or other players after you? A system like that would be really cool for a setting like this.
Yeah.
Especially if, like, what if you start the game, you create your Jedi, and then the more good deeds you do, obviously, the more notoriety you're going to attract. They show up, they kill you, maybe. That character's done forever, and now you have to start as a new Jedi, because the whole point of the game is the Jedi are, getting killed off.
Guys,
no one would want that.
What if it's really like a space wheat farming simulator? Like that's what you like. You're a Jedi in hiding, so you just like, and you're like just growing space wheat and trying to attract as little attention as possible. And I mean, at this point, we know nothing about the game, so I mean, it for all we know, it could be that.
That's like 90% of the game, and in the last half, it's kind of like the start of Rogue One, where a shuttle lands, some Inquisitors get off, and they're like, "Farming, a force user of your talents."
They show up and they murder the girl that you had been like cultivating a relationship with from the village, like the whole game.
I can't tell if
as they walk through your field of wheat, they have their like sabers spinning, cutting it. They're like, not my wheat.
It sounds like you're selling us the midway point of X-Men Origins Wolverine, or I suppose X-Men Apocalypse, if you wanted.
Who's farming wheat in X-Men Apocalypse though?
No, it's where Magneto is.
Well, okay, yeah. Okay, I get what you're. Just replace the wheat with like working in a factory.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Any like crafting gathering skill, insert that. Yeah, and I just going off of another comment in chat is that after seeing the Bethesda conference, they gave us that Elder Scrolls 6 is being worked on, and that is even, I guarantee that's so much further out than Jedi Fallen Order. And they at least had an animated logo with, some background and some music, and that got us pumped. And you know what? It wouldn't have been that hard to get.
And that one, they didn't even have an actual title for the game. They just popped Elder Scrolls 6 up on there. They didn't give us like the actual like subtitle, like Morrowind or Oblivion or Skyrim for the game.
Still better. I don't know. And sadly, all we can do now is continue to speculate because we got nothing.
Speculating about this game is really fun for me right now, and I know the more I find out about this game, the less, because I'm like, ooh, it could be this. There's all this potential, and then it's going to be like, eh.
What's crazy for me is that so many other like general Star Wars sites that aren't gaming focused are getting really excited about this, like, oh, this sounds amazing. It's all of the bullet points that poor guy had to tell us, and like, that's nothing. That's a nothing announcement, and it's a nothing game right now. There's nothing to be excited for. Why are you people getting excited?
He didn't tell us this, but one thing we can be pretty sure of, at least based on what happened with Visceral's game, is that Chewbacca is going to show up at some point in this game.
Well, if he doesn't, then we know it's going to be a shaky ground. Maybe they'll, when they're demoing it to the executives, they'll just have like a JPEG of Chewbacca that's like kind of always there on the screen. So they're like, yep, looks great.
Can only hope they're so creative.
Question for you two. Would you rather play as your own custom character that you can, choose how you look, and especially your outfit and your lightsaber color, or play as a brand new character that's picked for you, much like we had with Starkiller, or a character that we know, like Ahsoka or Kanan, or perhaps, just a Jedi character we've seen in the background, but we don't know died, like Quinlan Voss. He's still out there somewhere. We know that. Like, what if Quinlan Voss is the main character? Which of those would you prefer?
I don't know. You didn't give me the option to pick a character that's not a Jedi.
That's definitely not an option.
So
yeah,
my answer would be a halfway point of the first two, which is essentially
like Commander Shepard.
Exactly.
So it's like got a set name and like set character traits, but you can make them look however you want.
You got it.
I think I would prefer more customization myself. But if it was going to be a set character, I think I would rather it be someone we haven't seen before. Especially since they're going to die at the end. So let's not care about them too much.
I really like your idea of you getting a choice to either die or become an Inquisitor. That's cool. It's probably like too cool for them to include. I wonder who's writing this.
I mean, they could do it. I mean, they've already gave us a really awesome campaign told totally from the Imperial point of view, thanks to Star Wars Battlefront.
You know what? I will say this. I don't know if it's. My wife read the book, and then so I'm like, okay, you got to play the game now, and she played through the whole thing, and I just sat and watched her do it, and it didn't look like it didn't annoy me as much sitting watching it as it did when I first played it, and I don't know if that's just because there's so much more time now between when I read the book and played the game, or what. Because I remember my initial annoyance just being how disconnected the characters seemed from them in the book, but I'm almost tempted to play through it again just because it didn't seem like as bad as I remembered it the first time through.
Well, hey man, if you hate yourself that much, whatever, you do it.
Speaking of Battlefront.
Yes. Speaking of, I thought that, so looking back at the conference, so after that poor guy was done talking, they went back up to the stage, and a rep from Battlefront 2 came out.
Dennis the man, the hero. Everybody loves Dennis.
Well, he seemed like a...
Except Mr. Wilson.
Oh boy, I knew that was coming. But it started off unexpectedly, I thought, although kind of... I won't say it was nice to hear, but I guess it felt good that they publicly said, hey, we kind of messed up, and we're trying to fix it.
Yeah, but they've said that before, too.
Yes, on, like, websites, but not in front of thousands of people. I don't know.
I appreciated them saying that, although I already knew that Dennis felt that way anyways. At least now that he was, like, speaking at the EA thing, like, kind of more as an official spokesperson than he typically is,
right,
on Reddit or Twitter.
And this is the same press conference at which that CEO was like, we know how much you like subscriptions. We're going to bring you the joy of subscriptions. I mean, this isn't exactly a place where we say, hey, that game that you all spent money on wasn't that great, so we're going to fix it. So it was nice to hear that. And they, of course, spent some time talking about Han Solo season, which at this point, they've got all the content out now, so we don't just have the Skiff Lando or Bounty Hunter Leia. We've got young Han, young Lando, younger, scruffy, goggles Chewie, and the Lando Falcon. All the things we asked for, we got. And we got the coaxium mines.
Nobody asked for it, really, actually.
Well, I mean, not that we asked for it in the laundry list of things that we want this game to be, but when we said, hey, there's a Han Solo season, but it doesn't have any solo stuff, here's things that you could do for solo season, and then we got it. Like, I think our episode hit 2 days after that stuff was announced, so once again, we called it. That's going to be our thing now. It's like within a couple days of us doing a recording of something or publishing a prediction or a request, it's going to happen.
Well, I don't know. I said Star Wars Battle Royale in the last episode, and that never happened. They did get announce a Battlefront Battle Royale, a Battlefield Battle Royale about 5 minutes into.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they kind of just were like, here's the stuff that's coming out in a couple days. And then they told us what everybody's been waiting for the longest time, that there's going to be more Clone Wars era content. I shouldn't say like Clone Wars is coming because it's been there since the game launched, but an actual like new chunk of content themed around it that's going to be giving us Obi-Wan, Anakin, Count Dooku, and Grievous, which is really exciting, especially because I assume that the voice actors from the TV show will be doing their characters. There's no confirmation on that, but I'll be very surprised if that's not the case.
I do hope so, because those are the
so
voices
cool.
that, I now, when I think of those characters, that's what I think of.
In the game, they already have those voices for the clones and the battle droids and Darth Maul. So why not, get these guys back for this? And I'm already excited about like getting some Obi-Wan skins, where he's got his like clone trooper gauntlets on. But that's just exciting. It'd be nice to get like Ahsoka and Cad Bane or Jango Fett or something, but 4 heroes is a lot, especially, we had no new heroes this wave of content. Now we're getting 4,
right?
Plus Geonosis, which they said was the largest map they've ever created for Battlefront, which sounds kind of cool.
So before we get too far away from the hero announcements, it's great that we're getting these characters. I feel like Grievous and Obi-Wan would have been better to have at launch than Maul and Yoda. I guess I can kind of see why they didn't, but anyways, I am perturbed by the fact that we're getting 4 new characters, all of whom are lightsaber characters. All 4 of them. There's no... you can argue that there's going to be a variety of powers, but they're all lightsaber people, and there's a plethora of non-lightsaber characters that could have been drawn from.
These characters were picked because they were the most requested by the community.
Ugh.
A lot of people were saying, like, where's Anakin? And the community manager's like, all the polls I've done everywhere, Obi-Wan is the number 1 most wanted. Then it's Grievous, then it's Anakin and Dooku. So this is why we're getting these 4. I don't mind that they're all lightsaber characters, although I typically don't play as the lightsaber characters.
Right.
I don't think that they wouldn't like give us Cad Bane and Captain Rex instead of Dooku and Anakin. Like, that wouldn't... Even if it was better for the game balance, I don't think people would be cool with that. And it would feel weird to me, too. I'm like, what? Where? Kind of... Even though Anakin and Obi-Wan, it's just 2 dudes with blue lightsabers, I'm sure they'll play a lot differently.
Well, I hope that Obi-Wan has, like, tons of defense stuff, and Anakin is pure offense. Like, that's great. And I am going to play Obi-Wan and Grievous and Anakin, and maybe Dooku.
I think it would be cool if Grievous has a blaster ability. In Revenge of the Sith, he pulls out a blaster.
Yeah.
That's how he died. In the Clone Wars show, he pulls out a blaster in the middle of a lightsaber fight to shoot a guy in the gut. I think it would be great if he had an ability where you could just whip out a blaster and start making ranged attacks. Ooh.
And Dooku...
What if this?
Dooku's going to be, if I'm not too mistaken, the only saber character who also has lightning. Because right now it's just Palpatine with lightning and no saber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's good.
Okay, now I really want General Grievous' sprint animation to be where he's on all 6 limbs, scuttling
that needs
like
to happen.
A scorpion. Because I love that. It's so creepy. And that would be great for sprinting because you'll have like a low profile.
And now start guessing emotes.
They'll have a hello there and a General Kenobi emote for them, I guarantee you.
And coughing. He needs to have a coughing emote.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have a coughing. I'll be surprised if Anakin doesn't have like a sand emote.
I hope he has a "I slaughtered them like animals" emote.
But Geonosis is going to be their biggest map. I'm curious if this will include droidicas and maybe commandos for the new reinforcement types. I think it would be cool if it was based around the second Battle of Geonosis from the Clone Wars, where the clone troopers had like kind of that sand red-brown armor and flamethrower troops, because they've already got a flamethrower unit in the game, just reskin it as a clone. But I'm excited for that, but we're probably not going to see it until late September is my guess.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the actual arena, the actual battlefield, the field of battle itself will just be the open plains with rocky outcroppings. Right. It's not going to be the actual interesting part, which is the catacombs.
Oh yeah, that would be, I think we've talked about that. That'd be my pick for another hunt mode. It's the catacombs against zombie bugs.
Ooh, they could do an extraction. They could do the extraction of, I don't know, eggs. Geonosian eggs.
Set inside the factory. So, like, as you're fighting, you can see, like, 3PO stumbling around the...
I'll take that.
That's going to be a new hero that they haven't announced. There'll be two new heroes. One, 3PO with a Battle Droid head, and Battle Droid with 3PO head.
Ooh, and also they need to, well, eventually, when they finally decide to pull from Clone Wars TV show more, they need to do a mode that involves the brain worms. Like a horde mode where you're just stuck in the catacombs trying to get out, and you keep getting attacked by brainworm Geonosian zombies. And if you die...
Yeah, just make it... Then you just spawn as a Geonosian.
Yes.
Yeah, just like Ewok Hunt, but clones and Geonosians in dark, near pitch black catacombs. Especially if the Geonosians get vertical movement with their wings. So like in the show, they come out of nowhere, grab a guy by the shoulders, and yank him into the darkness.
That sounds great.
But coming sooner than that content, which I'm excited for. Oh, and I wonder if they're going to add Obi-Wan Starfighter and Jango Slave 1 for hero ships. That would be cool because they've been in the concept art since before the game came out. But
coming. And how do we not getting Jango?
Right, he's the easiest they could do. It's just a reskin, so maybe some different abilities
and new weapon. That's it. Anyways,
but sooner than that, this summer, so in July, there's going to be a new mode I think it's called Hero Starfighters, which it's just essentially going to be a hero-only mode, but for starfighters, which we haven't had yet. So you'll be able to jump in a mode where you get to play as a hero ship the whole time. Since most of the time when you play as a hero ship, it lasts like a minute before everyone gangs up on you and kills you. Which I probably won't play very much, but I think it's nice that they're coming out with that. Because it's nearly impossible now to level up your hero ships. Because you never get to play as them.
I mean, those hero modes are at least good for getting some of those dailies, right? Or not, not dailies, but whatever you want to call them for killing certain guys or as.
I think they're really fun in small doses, so this will probably be fun for a couple rounds, and then do something else and come back to it later.
Yeah.
Also later this summer, something we've all been waiting for since before the game came out, because we assumed it was going to be there when the game came out, is a squad system that lets you spawn on the friends that you're actually playing with.
Thank goodness.
Like the last Battlefront, or like any Battlefield game.
This alone will go a long ways to fixing things. I think the busted squad system, and I know you'll agree, has been one of the biggest things holding it back.
Yeah, whenever we play together and we happen to get put in the same squad, we're always like, oh, look at that.
It's always a red letter day when that happens.
But now you'll actually be able to spawn on your people. So I'm sure they're going to have a lot to figure out in that sense, since that might affect map balance a lot. All in all, I am very optimistic about the future of Battlefront right now, especially if they don't announce a third one anytime soon.
Yeah, honestly, I think the game right now is good enough such that when it comes time to add new content or come up with, quote, new Battlefront for when Episode 9 comes out, they can still use this game. Like, there's no need for it to be set on fire, and come out with a new one. I know Leo disagrees vehemently, but
I'm holding back right now.
You don't have to. When have you ever held back? Come on now.
Because everyone's heard it so many times, And
that's fair.
I mean, and it's just like I already said, I'm done with the game. It plays like it's no fun. So
it needs a turbo mode. They need Super Battlefront 2 Turbo.
Yeah, or something.
Ultra Edition, Arcade Edition.
So I'm just going to just ignore everything that's happening in the Battlefront field until they come out with a new one, and I will, I'll try that out, and then I'll say, wow, that sucks balls too. And maybe some other developer will make another Star Wars FPS that isn't the worst. So I'll just let you guys enjoy bad games.
Thank you.
Whatever.
I appreciate that. See, and you're not calling us names for liking things. You could, but you're not.
No, I'm just calling the thing you like awful.
That's perfectly fine.
It's like whatever, man.
And
we need to get our stream working so we can. I'll cut together a video of Evan and I playing, just like us laughing, and like cut some clips of us like smiling into it. And then I need you to provide me with some footage of like you with your nose pressed up against the glass, like outside, that I can make it look like you're just watching us have fun.
We're gonna cut out all of the things of me yelling obscenities into it every 5 seconds.
I think I'd say 50% of your words are just the single word garbage. Or sentences that include the word garbage.
Yes. That is
See,
that is accurate.
See, but Joe, the thing is I'm not jealous of I'm not sad that I'm left out of your guys' Battlefront playing. I mean, I am sad, but I'm sad for you guys.
No, I'm not saying you're sad about missing out on Battlefront. I'm just saying you're sad about not being able to enjoy something.
My cursing. So patrons, you can come play with us on Xbox, and you can hear my unbridled cursing.
Shout out to he's got a lot of different usernames. Vader's March Kazoo, one of our esteemed patrons. He was playing with us the other night, and it was great, especially because we had 4 of us in an 8v8, so like half of the team was us, which was kind of...
And apparently I did well, even though I didn't get to see like my victory stats through most of it.
Yeah, it was bugged.
So yeah, now I've brought this up in chat before, and I don't know if I'm just misinterpreting, if I'm reading into things. The language used when they referred to the Clone Wars updates that are coming, it made it sound to me like this is just the beginning. Like they're not gonna stop, at least from how I took it. They're not just gonna stop with these 4 heroes and this one map, but they're gonna try to keep bringing stuff out, and I hope that's the case, because we've just in the conversation we've had, so many ideas for things that they could do. And I hope that there are people having those same conversations. I have to believe that there are. So I hope they keep reiterating. They don't just stop with one wave of this content like we got with The Last Jedi season. It was like, here's a wave of content, and it's done. I hope they like make this a backdoor sort of sly expansion to it in itself. I hope. Hopes are not high, but they're there. And really, that was it for Star Wars at E3.
Yeah, not even any Galaxy of Heroes news, the game where they probably make the most money from the Star Wars license.
Oh yeah, no, they were much too busy telling us all about Command and Conquer Rivals. I'm amazed I didn't hear any derisive comments from Leo on that. Not a Command and Conquer fan?
No.
No? I figured everyone was except for me.
No.
I'm certainly not.
I preferred StarCraft.
Yeah, high five.
I mean, I don't really see how do you say everyone was but you? I mean, StarCraft sold like crazy.
I don't know. It just seemed like everyone that I talked to, they're like, "Hey, you like RTSs?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I love StarCraft and Warcraft." And they're like, "Oh no, like Command and Conquer 3 or Command and Conquer Generals." I'm like, "Okay, no thanks."
People like Generals.
Yes, I know a surprising number of people who like Generals.
Well, at least they aren't trying to tell you that like Age of Empires.
I know plenty of people who like that.
Age of Empires 2?
No, Age of Empires sucked. Age of Empires 2 sucked.
Nobody liked
And
Age of
so
Empires 2.
And so did that Star Wars RTS that was just Age of Empires 2 with a Star Wars skin thrown on
Empire at War?
No, not Empire at War.
Galactic Battlegrounds?
The one that was... Yeah, I think so. It sucked.
There you go. It sucked. And I don't know. I guess I really want to talk about Anthem a lot.
I don't.
Well, and see that's part of the conversation. Even though,
well, I mean, all you really got to say is that it's like if Halo, it's just Halo and Destiny got it on and had a baby and named it Anthem.
Mass Effect was like in the corner just watching.
Right, and I think it's interesting that the ambivalence for this game is already so high, and they don't really seem to have addressed that. But this isn't a BioWare podcast, as much as I wish it was, much as I wish I had time for you and me, Joe, because I know Leo has some interest in it, but
my interest would go way up if you had AI companions like Mass Effect.
Yep.
And it didn't bounce little numbers off people when you shot them.
That they are already talking about doing away with.
The only game I am cool with the little numbers bouncing off is Borderlands.
Yeah, it definitely works for that game. But they have said that they're looking at getting rid of that already based on feedback, and that they haven't completely ruled out romance options. They're just not going to focus on it right away. They're focusing on like allies and friendships first.
That's not even on my radar. Like, cool if they do, cool if they don't. It's not like what I go to video games for. Like when it's there, it's like, all right, this is interesting.
At the same time, it's not like it's like who cares? Because you're not even playing the game with these people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of the reason why building the friendships and the relationships and romances with your character or with your companions was interesting in some of these other games is because
you'd be fighting alongside them.
You're fighting alongside them. You're out there doing missions with them. And like especially you can have banter happen in your party while you're out. That was always a fun little thing. Now you're just gonna have to listen to I'm just gonna have to listen to whatever Joe wants to yap about while we're out doing missions.
So we're gonna be playing Anthem. He's gonna be talking about Battlefront II.
Yeah, that's not appealing to me. I really like multiplayer games. That's not a type of game I need to have multiplayer with. That's when I just want to get sucked into the world and the characters and enjoy by myself.
Yeah, cause like this. So this system reminds me slightly of Fortnite's single player version. I guess I shouldn't say single player version. The non battle royale version of it, because you would go out and do these missions, and when you'd go on the missions, it was you and your party of friends, which would be 4 people, or else you and 3 random assholes from the internet. And I hated it. That's one of the main reasons I stopped playing, is because I didn't like dicking around with these 4 randos, or 3 random people. And yeah, they say that, at least here with Anthem, they do say you're going to have the option to run these missions solo and stuff like that. But some of the language they use kind of made me feel like it's not...
they're like, going to be very...
It's not going to be very feasible necessarily to run them solo. And yeah, I know people are probably like getting annoyed at us now for digressing from Star Wars, but I don't know. I feel like you can look at some of the other games that the EA studios are putting out to kind of at least give you an idea of the philosophy that the studio as a whole is, I guess, going for, and look at that, and it might inform what future Star Wars games are going to look like. And if they're going to look like Anthem, well, then I'm out.
Well, on that note, maybe we'll wrap up this episode. And if listeners do want us to have a separate BioWare podcast where we can talk about how great the older games were, we can certainly do that, and then talk a little bit about newer games and what we hope and pray will be in Dragon Age 4. I'd certainly be up for that. Just a thought. Just a longing to talk about BioWare stuff. I mean, seriously, we could just go on forever about Mass Effect and Dragon Age just by itself.
I'm sorry I don't have enough time to make a podcast with you every night of the weekend.
Oh, you're the worst.
I know.
That's all right. I would get even less sleep than I already do.
Yeah, because we could do our Star Wars podcasts on Wednesdays, and then on Thursdays we'll do the BioWare podcast, and then on Fridays we'll do like comic book podcast.
No, it's gonna be. This is what it's gonna be called. It sucks! Exclamation point. Every episode, Leo brings one new product. It could just be a new soda he bought or a new TV show he started, and he tells us why it sucks. And Evan and I can just pre-record some things like, yep, and then we can cut that in.
We'll just make a soundboard for you.
You won't believe how much this thing sucks. How much does it suck, Leo?
It sucks so bad. All right. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call this episode done before things get any weirder. We come up with any more possible YouTube series or podcasts that'll never happen, and someone's gonna be like, "That sounds amazing. I want that show." So, thank you, Leo, and thank you, Joe, for being here and contributing.
Can just add a new patron level where like the reward is you get to tell us what second show to make, but it's like $2,000 a month.
Yep. The executive producer level, the imperial level. So thank you both. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Thanks for joining us in chat, patrons. thank you again for all that you do for us, and we love to hear from you. And I guess we'll catch you next time on the next episode of the Jodo Cast.